Test. Okay, should be good. Hello everyone, welcome back to, this will be week 5 for our class. And this week, I'm going to, like we did in class, show you guys how to do like some cutscenes with a VR headset. So I might as well just jump into it. I don't think there's anything I'm missing so far. Right now I'm in like this sci-fi template that I've been working in since the beginning of class, since it's free on Fab. Very nice winter wonderland thing, and I have set up a little box trigger right here, and with the sequencer, which is what we're going to be looking at in this tutorial. And I did not do a good job of making this a good folder structure. I call it my timeline because I couldn't spell sequencer. But here it is. If I double click this, put it down. We're gonna go through the sequencer like we did, add in some camera cuts, some audio. I'll probably add in like a skeletal mesh to like make it run around the scene. And when it's all said and done, hopefully this works. If I play my game, so my player capsule is right here. This is where I'm going to start. I'm going to walk into this little box, and it should play a cutscene in the headset. Okay. My headset's tracking. Let me put it on my face. Okay. And now... Oh, my hands are backwards. There we go. Actually, I don't know if I turned on my computer audio for this, but that's all right. I'm going to walk forward. So I set this up a few different ways. I'm just going to walk forward. So like if you walk into like an area on your level, this should play. So let's see. I'm going to walk forward slowly. Yeah. And I can see myself down there in the corner. But right now I'm not moving like my controller. It's all being animated through the sequencer. See, we have some camera fades. It's gonna make me walk forward. I'm gonna peek around the corners, and I'm trying to keep my head still because I'm not moving at all. This is all stuff I've programmed in the sequencer. That's about it. And then it's going to jump me back to my character. And cool. Very simple, but yeah, how to kind of script events, just in Unreal in general, but particularly with like a VR headset. So you could do more like exhibition stuff if you don't want to do game things, or let me exit out of this. Yeah. Or I mentioned in class, like if you don't want to do a lot of programming for like animating your NPCs or things like that, you could just program stuff in the sequencer or script stuff in the sequencer and have them play whenever you like hit a button or walk into stuff, and that would be fully functional and like fine as well. Whatever easiest for your project. But okay, let's get started. So I'm just going to recreate this little thing, and I'll probably add some new stuff as I go along. But to start off, I'm actually going to take off my headset and put it down. Maybe 1 second. Okay, so to get this started, what we're going to do is that we're going to open up the content drawer. And I just made a folder called Timeline. I'm just gonna create stuff in here just to keep it simple. So if I want to create a level sequencer, I'm gonna right click, look for level sequence, and this will just add a level sequence. So I'm gonna call it LS. I actually don't know what the naming convention for level sequences are. I'm just treating it like I would like a blueprint class. Like I see over here, I have BP for blueprint. So I'm just going to call this LS, and call this VR cutscene demo. I double click it, it'll open up behind the content drawer. So I'm going to hit Control Spacebar to make it go low. And now we have our sequencer. Oh God. Now we have our sequencer up in the level, which is great. Trying to think what should be first. I'm going to hit G in my window over here just to turn off all the gizmos, just because they were distracting me. And the first thing I showed in class was like just how to animate like a simple shape. So I'm going to do this two ways. One way that you can like animate stuff in your level is if I hit this little plus square thing up here, I can look for a shape, look for a cube, and also add in a cube. I can see it over here in my outliner. I'm used to calling this the inspector, but I think that's for Unity. But we see this is my cube. And if I hit the add button down here, go add actor from track. Because I have the cube highlighted over here, it's blue. It's saying, do I want to add this? So it's kind of trying to predict what I want to do. And I do. So this is my cube. And we see it added it in over here. And because this is just a static meshes look like this little brick thing. So static mesh actor. It's really only going to give me the transform. But if I hit this little plus icon over here, can I add in other stuff? I know you can control a lot from the sequencer. I was wondering if I can like control its maybe material or something, but that's not entirely relevant. I was just curious if I could. And it doesn't seem to want to let me, or maybe I'm not sure how to do that, but that doesn't matter. I just want to move it. So my gizmos for now are set to scale. That's why they're little like block handles. If I hit W on my keyboard, it'll take me to my move gizmos. And to move things in a sequencer, you can do it a few different ways. One way that I normally do, which is I don't like doing this way, but I do it by default because it just seems natural to me. If I want this to start here, maybe I'll put it on the floor. I can hit this little button over here to add a keyframe, and this will set its initial position at 0, 0. So right now it'll be here. And then if I move it over to, let's see, 60 frames, and move my square forward, and then hit the plus icon over here, we can see I've keyed a change. So this is how you would like move just like a standard static mesh in your level. So I'll put it back to the beginning and I'll hit my spacebar on my keyboard, and we can see it's moving across the screen. And I have mine set to loop by default. I think it comes in as not looping, which is this little arrow over here. So this just means it'll play through once and that's it. So if I hit play now, well, it's just gonna, you see my scrubber stopped here and didn't loop back to the beginning. You might want your thing to trigger only once, so that's kind of helpful. But let's see, I normally don't key my stuff this way, because if I move my scrubber over to 60, move my object where I want it to be, and then move my scrubber again without keying anything, it just resets my progress. And I'm just forgetful, so I don't like doing that two-step process of move and then key. I think this should key just to change channels when it changes. Key all. Would this do anything? I thought that would key it as I move it, but maybe I'm thinking of Blender. Either way, if I want to make sure that my changes are saved as I do stuff, I could use these sliders over here. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm on the Y, so move it this way. And when you mess with these sliders over here, it keys to change automatically. I only wanted the Y to change, so that's really fine. But that like will do it'll key it automatically, so I don't have to worry about forgetting. So that's what I prefer to do. but that's how you would do something for like a little static mesh. And you can see, you know, we have rotation and scale. So if I wanted to twist it or something, maybe I keyed everything once at the beginning. So I keyed the transform, which would key location, scale, and rotation. So that means if I go over to 60, I can, oh, I don't know which one this is. That's not the one I want. I want it to spin on itself. There we go. Let me get 360. Do a full 360 no scope. Okay. And now she just spins. Cool. Simple animation is not meant to be good for this. I guess just because I don't like this thing being as big as it is, I'm going to make it smaller. So I go to over here, change this to 0.25. And I don't know if this, so we can also key things via this transform over here. I don't normally do it this way because I prefer just to, like, if I'm gonna key something or change it, I prefer to do it over here. But this is actually helpful, so I'm actually going to minimize my sequencer a bit. We can see over here we can key certain things. Specifically, like if I wanted to change what kind of static mesh is being rendered here, I could key it as a cube and then change it to something else and key it again. And I'll try to see if I can change the material, but I don't think it'll let me do that, so that's actually helpful to know. But I can key different things, like, you know, whether I'm using physics or like anything with like this little thing, I can key it. So this is cool. Good to know. But that's more like if you want to do something more advanced. I'm just doing movement right now. Oh, again, that's why I'm always careful using this little section over here instead of doing it over here, because I see it just I think because I keyed everything to be 111 for scale at the beginning, it just reset it back to that. So if I delete the key for scale and then put it at 0.25, now it's fine. So just be careful like what you're keying and what you're not keying to make sure you don't reset your progress. And because I'm a little bit low on time for this video, instead of moving on to the skeletal mesh, I'll do the next video. I'll just talk about a few good things to know for the sequencer. So I'm going to minimize my transform. Down here we have like our playback options. Like it's trying to, Unreal's trying to mimic like a, you know, a Pro Tools already thing with a timeline. So now we can scrub through different keys and whatnot. If I hit the arrow keys on my keyboard, I can see I can scrub through frame by frame, which is really helpful if I want to be like really minute with my animations. And if I want to jump key by key, so these are my different keys. I only have 2 of them. If I hit this little arrow over here, I can jump via the keys in my timeline. So if I add another key here, go back to my beginning, I can see I'm jumping by key. So any animation that I'm keying is what I'm, you know, scrubbing by, which is also helpful. And let's see. Right now my timeline is 150 frames and my frames per second is set to 30. So this will be a 5-second animation because 30 divided by, sorry, 150 divided by 30 is 5, so it's 5 seconds. But if I don't want to work in frames, I can switch this to timeline or seconds, and we see it's 5 seconds. I don't like this because a frame is the smallest unit I think it can go by. So this makes more sense to me because I can zoom in, and like this is like the most minute I can go. Like I don't think you can do like a half frame. That doesn't make sense. But yeah, just a little introduction to the sequencer, the little timeline. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video, in which we'll be looking at how to add in skeleton meshes and cutscenes and cameras and whatnot. So, I'll be back in a quick sec.